Gentlemen, 2 questions, 60 seconds each. It's debate time with our 2 weekly guests. All right, Brandon Kravitz from 96.9 The Game. He's on in the mornings now. George Diaz from the Orlando Sentinel. He's the columnist, 60 seconds sound off. George, we will start with you. Question number 1. Are the Jags for real? They smoked Pittsburgh on the road last week. They've had some weird games. Are they for real?
Well, do they get to play Ben Roethlisberger every week? You know, because if it's Big Ben, they could win the Super Bowl. Honestly, this is what they can do. Are they for real? You know, it's the NFL and games are tight. If they can keep Bortles doing what he does best, which is hand the ball off to Leonard Fournette, they can win a lot of games because that defense is solid. So yeah, it's a question of not get behind, stay in the game, and not put the game in Bortles' hands, because that's where they get in trouble. If they can run, play defense, they're solid.
Brandon, are they for real?
Well, I think George makes some good points. The answer is really both. They're for real because what you've seen has been reality. They have actually looked that good on our TV screens. They've also gone up against some really bad quarterbacks, and it's weird to say that Ben Roethlisberger is one of those, but they go up against Josh McCown and Tom Savage, and where they are for real, and that I think they're going to win 10 games this year, okay? At this point that they've won 3. I think they're going to win 10 because if you look at the rest of their schedule, it doesn't get tough at any point. They play bad quarterbacks all throughout the year as long as Andrew Luck continues to not practice or not play with the Indianapolis Colts. So they have a pretty cupcake schedule ahead of them. Where they're not for real is that Blake Bortles is not good enough to win them a playoff game.
Well, 10 games get you to the playoffs, and so let me just say that. Yes, they're for real. That's the translation on that. All right, topic number 2, and Brandon, we're going to start with you. We all know what happened with the Dolphins offensive line coach, but let's get to the root of this. Is there a culture problem down in Miami?
I think sometimes perception is reality, and the perception is that there is a problem culturally. When you go back to 2 years ago, Laramie Tunsil had that video come out during the draft where he was smoking out of a bong in his dorm room, and who drafted him? The Miami Dolphins. You flash forward to this year, and Lawrence Timmons goes AWOL. Who's he playing for? The Miami Dolphins. Yeah. And now there's a coach who is snorting lines in his office at the headquarters for the Miami Dolphins, and it's the Dolphins again. So perception is reality. Now, I think that this particular issue is not a systemic kind of thing, but perception is reality, Adam, and the perception is they have a culture problem.
George, you used to live there and work there. Is there a problem in Miami overall?
I think not so much when I was there, but I'll go back a little further, not too far away. We had the Chad Johnson incident where there was a domestic violence issue and he had to be cut. You had the Ricky Williams era. They brought in some questionable characters, and they have paid the price for making those decisions. So I would say, you know, you get what you get when you bring in some of these folks that are a little shaky. And as far as the offensive line coach, I mean, there wasn't a great history there. Sometimes drugs are obviously very different animal, but yeah, there's most definitely is a problem there.
All right, George Diaz, Brandon Kravitz, thank you guys so much. Well, I will call